Hey everybody, welcome back to Docwood Theory. My name is Docwood.
And I'm your boy Theory. Now let's get right into it.
Alright, man. So listen, I think having our first episode come out, it was really, really exciting. I would really like for this to be something more refined. So going forward, I would really like everyone to just expect the man sitting next to me to always be here.
I'll be here. I'll be here every time. I mean, it doesn't make sense that I, wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I just want to bring up the fact that you weren't here the first episode.
I got a broken. Just you tell the people. Well, I mean, geez, like.
Okay, so this is the thing.
Man.
You tell me if this is reasonable. Okay, and tell me if I'm being a little crazy. Okay, I expect him to be here to start things that we say we're going to do. He says I can't. He gives me a reason. I call it an excuse. He says, Zach, I was pushed out of a third-story window, and I broke my back and my leg. And I go, well, Cantrell, that happened in February, dude. That's like 2 months ago. You know?
Okay, listen, bro. All right, you know what? I'm so glad you brought that up. You know what I mean? Let me tell you why. Sunday? Okay, yeah, Sunday. I get a phone call from my cousin. I get a phone call from my cousin in Alabama. One of my many cousins in Alabama, obviously. And he says to me, he was like, "Hey, cuz," I haven't talked to him since last time I was in Alabama, which is at Christmas. He said, "Hey, cuz, how you doing?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" He said, how you feeling, man? I heard you broke your back." And I was like, "Yeah." He said, "What happened?" And, I immediately said, "Well, what did you hear happened?"
Oh, yeah. What is, do you want to tell people what happened, or do you want to go over that?
Well, I'll go over. Sorry, guys. I'll go over that immediately after this. He said to me, "Well, your cousin, and I won't name any specifics, said to me that you got shot in the back and a drug deal gone wrong."
Oh, shit.
I got shot in the back. This is what's going on. This is what's being said.
That's the Cantrell I know.
The home that I came from, little small town, southeast Alabama, like 45 minutes from Panama City Beach. But bro, think about that. No one hears from me because it's just not like, I mean, I broke my back in five spots, bro. So
yeah, it looks crazy. Crazy hardware.
And like I'll probably never be able to go through a metal detector again. It's going off.
What's the difficult thing? So, okay.
And then the right foot too.
So I think most people would ask you, like, well, why would you struggle with telling the story? Or, like, what to say to somebody if you just got hurt? I know to say, like, it's offensive to just have an assumption, but why would people assume that in your family that would be an outcome that you suffered through? Was that outlandish? Or was that rightfully placed?
Oddly enough. No, it's not oddly. It was. If you're going to assume something with a situation that large, a situation that scale, people wouldn't find it too outlandish that something like that might happen to me because I'm in no way a gangster, but done a lot of drugs. You know what I mean?
And I'm assuming you don't just mean that, like, you just kind of experimented with drugs when you say I've done a lot of drugs. If you would elaborate more on that.
I mean, okay. When I say I've done a lot of drugs, and let me say that in no way am I condoning the use of or trying to make light of addiction, or quite the contrary, actually.
Right.
But I feel like in order for people to actually, receive a message about something as extreme as addiction, it has to be completely raw and uncut. People need to stop lying when you telling your stories and cutting corners and shit like that. You knew the cops was in the room. You know you did some freaky shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, you did. And you knew your girlfriend. Like, dude, you gotta be real with yourself first. Then you can be real with everybody else. I'm here to actually just be completely raw and uncut and honest about this particular situation. I don't want to hear about the rest of them, but if you do, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, well, this is the thing. So this would be the first time that you've actually ever told the story then?
Yeah, there's a 3 people that know like 80% of the story. That would be you, my mother, and my Aunt Marge. Okay.
Well, there's another person that knows more.
Well, yeah. Well, that's. But other than that, there's on the other side there are. If I might as well go right into it, right? Like
let's jump right in.
Yeah. So there's 2 other culprits on the other side of the knowing the real story.
And why is that? Theory?
These 2 people were drug dealers. One was a female, the other was a male. This male had been, and since I'm not naming names,
first off, are you sure those are the right pronouns? I'm just joking. Just go for it. I'm sorry.
Didn't I say male and female? Aren't those the only ones?
Whew, we're gonna start down the road early.
Jesus. Back to the guy and the girl. Okay, those 2 were drug dealers. Both. It's so crazy, man. Like, you know what? Because I know later that we're gonna get into, my name is Theory. We're gonna get into different types of theories. So I'm gonna give you the reason why this is so weird.
Well, I have a question though about the drug dealers.
Dates and stuff. Yeah.
Were they like real drug dealers or like I'm a user drug dealer? Because as a recovering addict, I know the difference too. There are like people who have like me. I was a drug dealer in the sense that I would potentially middleman stuff to get my shit. You know what I'm saying? Or were they real drug dealers making moves?
She smoked.
Okay.
More than she sold.
It's always like that though. Tell me it's not always like that.
Freaking boy, they made so much money.
Tell me it's not always like that. The girl's always using.
Bro,
that's how he keeps her there.
Listen, I swear on every I swear on my you like I don't play, you know what I mean, when it comes to that, but dude, on my grandma's grave, bro, listen to this. Because I owed them money, I was the only person they trusted. This is a real story. Think about it. They made me go in the bathroom and count the money that they had made over the course of like maybe 12, 16 hours. Okay?
They made you count the money.
Made me count the money.
No, that's all at gunpoint.
No, this wasn't at gunpoint.
Just by highly suggestive.
Just you should probably do it. You know what I mean? And you know what I'm saying? And to be fair, she did give me like probably like I don't know, maybe like a 30 a crack to smoke while I was doing this. So it wasn't like it was like, you know, do what the fuck we're saying. But it was on his birthday. Her birthday was the day before. And this was January 18th and 19th specifically. All right. So I count the money, smoke the crack. They let
in
me
that
leave.
order.
That order.
You didn't smoke the crack first.
No.
What a reserved drug addict.
I have a choice.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, here, count my money. Meanwhile, smoke the crack while you're counting my money.
Yeah, I mean, some people I would never.
I
would have never been like, yeah, give me my shit later. I was never that person. I mean, I was a tester usually, so I was usually like the person.
Did you?
They like the way I talk. That's what I always got like the nice end of that. And I was never nice to my drug dealers. Like I was always an asshole.
Me either.
To them. I know you weren't.
Yeah.
I know that. I heard you.
You bitch ass nigga, bring your whole ass over here.
Like y'all need me. Shit, I called 10 more right now.
Like literally right now.
It's like a fucking race. I'd be like, hey, I called 3 other people too. So like whoever's coming first.
I play my position when it comes to it, but it still doesn't. I'm not glorifying it. It's stupid.
Well, it's not glorifying it. It's actually kind
of
of pathetic to be honest, because like, you know, you're operating in a space where one, you don't have to, and like you're not at your obvious like maximum potential. But the other thing is like you're manipulating someone who's manipulating, not recognizing that that person's probably manipulating to feed their family while I'm manipulating to feed a habit. So actually, at the end of the day, I feel more like a piece of shit.
I am a piece of shit. Fuck you.
No,
yeah,
you're not. But I understand what you're saying.
Your actions determine. Never mind.
Yeah, they do.
They in a sense determine your worth. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Now, if you act on impulse versus acting on like sheer belief in what you're doing is right.
Well, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But that's considered integrity.
Which is like the pinnacle of life, right?
Well, at least in terms of modeling it, yeah.
Well, I mean, if there's no integrity in a product that you're trying to remodel, what happens? doesn't become that product. So it has to have integrity first.
Well,
So,
yeah, I mean that's loosely using the word integrity because that could just mean like structural strength.
exactly
You know what I mean? Well, I know, but getting back to this though about I think one of the hardest things that people have a difficult time understanding is like the whole judgment about being an addiction and like what that means when people are being honest and accountable. Like you're telling the story right now, which I do want to get back to real fast.
Okay.
We derailed there, but it's that being honest comes with judgment too, and that's a reality that we have to live with, and it's okay that we live with it. We accept that, but like know that impacts how we get treated at hospitals, what kind of care we get when we get there. Because I go to one specific place because it's the only place in my state that treats me like a human being
every single time.
It's the only place, and shout out to them because they're fucking awesome.
I'm glad you brought me to them. Like,
yeah, I only go them because if you're an addict, they talk to you like you're a human being. But for the most part, we don't get that experience and we don't get that ability, because of the decisions we made. And we have to live with that. So when we tell these stories and we live with these badges on us and these things, we're okay with being accountable. We're okay with the fact that we did these things. Not okay with the fact that like it hurt people, but we've accepted and embraced the reality of what that means. So if we're sharing the story, understand that we are exposing a wound that we understand fully. Because if you've done the work, you understand the impact of your decisions and what that means for the people you love and even the people you don't love. Because realizing that we have responsibility with influence is something that is monumental in recovery. And what this man is doing right now is exposing his soul. And I just want to give acknowledgement there because it's really, really hard to do, especially with something like this because it comes with so much judgment. So I do want to get back to the fact that where you were in there counting the money, you felt pressured to do it.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
At that point.
So after I'm done counting the money, it's like, I go out in the living room. She's on the couch. He's in like this like recliner chair, and I was just sitting on the floor, and it was just the three of us, and people were coming in and out and in and out, in and out, in and out all night. I was the only person they let to stay there because they trust me. She's known me for years. I used to live in one of her houses when I was a heroin addict.
Okay. She
was using at that time too, but she was a dealer. But we had like if you would say, kind of a friendship because she was friends with my wife, blah, blah, blah. All right. So for like, I don't know, 15 years or maybe longer. And so this weekend is, like I said, the 18th and 19th, and it came up to the 20th. A couple weekends later was my birthday. It was January 31st was the date that I went there to go back to smoke again. Nobody knew. Nobody in the family knew that I was going and smoking crack, but they knew.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was gone for a couple days, right? And so, like, I go there this weekend and I'm dressed all nice, bro, and I got like my, I'm looking good because I had a good day. I went to the doctor and I was dressed really dope, like it was the day before my birthday.
Feeling yourself.
I was feeling myself, right? You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody deserves those.
I got my Dior Sauvage on, smelling real nice on the bus. Going to buy some fucking crack and smoking my crack dealer, bro.
Feeling sharp as fuck.
Bro, I'm feeling good, bro.
About to hit them clouds,
bro. So I go there this night, and maybe an hour before midnight, after they've been going, because mind you, I'm sitting there and I'm smoking with her, and he's chill with it. Me and her just going back talking, you know what I'm saying? Cool, kicking it, whatever. So I was like their company. But then I ended up being more than that because they started to realize, like, wait a minute, he's very intelligent. Maybe if we show him this stuff, that maybe he can help us navigate a way to profit off of the things that we show him.
Now, I will say, I don't think that you should mention what those products are.
I will not.
Okay, thank you. Just going forward.
All right, so let's just say that a lot of these, well, no, one specific was so extreme with regards to its worth that it frightened me. Immediately in my head, I'm like, you should probably just get what you're about to get the crack you get, tell them you know nothing about it, and just leave. Okay? But then.
What does that voice say inside your head? The one that just bought the crack.
You know everything about what he's talking about and could get him the most money he could ever get off of it if you just sat with them. So, I said, all right. I stayed there, and I was doing FanDuel. Mind you, I'm paying for my crack, though, but I'm smoking. And I'm talking to them about FanDuel and all this other shit. So, I get this, bro, I got 1 point away from hitting for $186. Okay.
Man, are you going off on a tangent about your FanDuel?
Mind
Gotcha.
you,
All right.
mind you,
It's notable.
I told them that I was gonna get that 186, so I get a front for 80.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Ooh.
Nothing too big, just a front for 80. I got 186 coming. You know you're gonna get the other 120, right?
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, of course, they give me the front for the 80. I miss by 1 freaking point,
There
boy.
it is.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. They don't know. I already got my crack. But I'm playing this off to the end. I don't know why it hasn't deposited into my account yet. I don't know. We're 2 days in now. It's past. No, we're a day and a half in now.
Okay, so
now it's my birthday.
So this is 2 days later. They're asking you still, hey man, why isn't that money in your account? Because the people aren't real. You didn't just explain that very well, but what he is saying is that he started the song and dance immediately, knowing that he lost because those parlays, right? That's a parlay. Yeah, those motherfuckers get you though. But I mean, they right. And I understand they're very enticing.
And I'm very, very, very elusive and evasive when it comes down to like technology and things like that with people that don't know what you're talking about. Like,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I'm like, look, bro, the money's right there. You see it?
Dangerous. This man is dangerous sometimes.
Tripping. So listen,
that was the old life.
I do that until this day comes in, and it's like I think it's like it had to be like 9 o'clock January 31st. I forgot to tell you it was the 30th and the 31st. All right, my birthday's on the 1st. So I'm sitting in the living room. There's a couple people there that were just chilling, kind of like just watching the show after the song and dance. Like me being the spectacle, because at this point, it's out there. You owe me $80. Where's my money? I've cleaned the house. I've done all this extra stuff to keep smoking while I'm there because they know I'm going to get my money, or they think. I knew better.
You stayed in the house.
What? Did I stay?
Did
I stay?
You stayed in the trap knowing that the money wasn't coming.
Man, quit playing with me, bro. I got resources, right? But I've exhausted them all.
That's the part you forgot to mention.
I've exhausted all resources but $20. Right? No, it's 15. Right, I'm 15. I don't know how I pulled that 15 off. But anyway, there's a girl that's smoking with me. So instead of me saying, hey, y'all, I got $15, let me get $15 worth of crack, or sending them that 15 saying, I'll send you more money, don't worry about giving me the crack, I said, hey, because we're down in their apartment downstairs, because there's a couple of them. They got a couple of apartments. One upstairs, one downstairs. Me and her were down in the one downstairs.
Yeah.
We weren't doing nothing.
Okay.
But smoking.
Gotcha.
Right. So, bro, I send the money to her. She sends the money to them immediately. Goes upstairs, gets $15 worth of crack. We go outside to her car to smoke. He comes out to the car, come upstairs.
He knew it was your 15.
Quit playing.
Oh, man.
She came upstairs with me, bro, and me and
I think
him
it's obvious
get into
it was
man.
yours.
This nigga hits me with a fucking, like one of these, bro. It was one of these, bro.
Tumbler?
A tumbler, bro. Across my face. I don't know if you can see it.
Nah, you still look like Bill to me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyway, boom. I stand up like, what the fuck, bro? Like, you know, I'm gonna defend mine. This nigga's big, though. Like, you know, like cut, ripped, like.
Big dude, gotcha.
Big dude.
All right. Ooh, oh.
But we was cool. Man, I'm standing by this. There's a love seat, window, sofa, kitchen. So there's the sofa, the window. I mean, the love seat, the window, the sofa. I'm on the 3rd floor, bro. Below us is grass, but if I look out to the window, just to the right of me, there's a tree that I could, you know, if something were to happen, you know, they would say something crazy and I have to jump out the window because the window was wide open. It was nice, you know.
You were trapped at that point. You knew it. Or
I knew
you felt.
I just knew it. So and before I could even think about doing that, he was like, I said, man, just let me go, bro. I'll get the money to you, bro. I'll leave my phone, whatever. And I ended up leaving the phone anyway. Well, I didn't have a choice because,
Right.
you know.
Gotcha.
So
Yeah, they'll find out.
he said, if you leave here, you going out that window, nigga. I was like, bro, I'll get the money.
Heartless.
Then I said, okay.
That's that life, though.
So he said, get out of my house, bro. And I got ready to climb out the window, put my feet out the window, holding on because there's a little ledge right below. You know, so there's a floor. The window,
Yeah,
you know?
gotcha.
I was going to drop to that, maneuver my way to the tree, which is just a branch to, you know, was just a branch away from me. Like,
Okay. Was it a thick branch?
It was thick enough for me to grab myself and, like, swing down.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Maybe.
It would have, maybe if it would have broken, I would have still been okay because it would have been like...
It would have slowed the process of falling.
Right.
Something.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you are blessed. I'm not going to deny that because the fact that you're still here with us, I am thankful for as a friend. You're my best friend, so that's something that's direly important. But, I mean, go on. I mean, that's just to talk about. You guys have no idea the amount of, like, hardware in this man's back, the fact how close he was to death. Like, this... It's just astounding. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, it's beautiful that I'm here. Like, and it actually gave me a new lease on life. And we'll talk about that some other time. Let me just finish this story, and then you guys will see the extremes of addiction and the things that it can lead you to.
Inevitably lead you to.
And this is only one of many stories, but this is the most extreme. Period.
This just happens to be the most recent.
Actually, yeah.
To be honest, that's actually that is Oh man, I don't even want to get into those. But yeah, all right. So where we are.
All right, so I'm holding onto the window. My hands out the window. I mean, my feet are out the window.
You're dangling 3 stories up.
I'm dangling 3 stories up, and I'm knowing that, damn man, if I miss this tree, I'm fucked. So before I could say that, he said, "Nah, that's too easy." Grabs my hand and throws me off the window. I fall 3 stories. About 1.5 stories down, I look up and I'm like, this is really about to happen. Can I tell you that I landed sitting up, like if you were sitting up in a chair?
Oof.
With my...
How did your head not pop off? Or shatter?
Exactly.
That's what I don't understand.
The right foot.
The fact that your right foot broke your fall and saved your life.
It didn't break my knee.
That's God.
It broke.
That's God. I don't care what anybody says. That's God.
I don't even see how it. Look at this. How
they were astounded. Like they were astounded that this man's alive. Like the fact that what they say, an inch or a couple inches. Like if your foot wouldn't have pivoted.
If my foot would have pivoted 1.25 inches either way, I've been dead. Period. My head.
For the sheer absorption of shock on the base here.
Shot through the top of my head.
Your skull.
From three stories down.
So it turns you basically is what happened.
Yep. And I army crawled to the fence. Pulled myself up and thought I could stand up with at least one of my legs. That's when I realized that my back was broken because everything just fell. And I could feel nothing from that point down.
You couldn't feel anything.
I couldn't feel anything, bro. I felt nothing. Nothing. I crawled to the cement, and about 4 or 5 minutes after screaming, "Please help, please help, please help." Mind you, I'm looking up. I'm laying on my back, and I'm looking up, and I can see the 3rd floor window. And I see him close the fucking window. And in my mind, he's coming down to finish me.
Yeah, well, naturally. I mean, at that point, why would you not think that he was?
And people come running from, like, the apartment complex this side, and then from the fence from behind me that I grabbed on, they were coming from behind there. And then I saw the girl that was upstairs with me smoking the crack. And she said, "Are you okay?" And I said, "I'm broke."
Are you okay?
Are you okay?
3 stories.
I said, "I'm broken." She said, "What do you mean?" And that's, I mean, the last thing I
was gonna say, you passed out.
Mean? And then I wake up screaming for my mom after they had done surgery.
Was your mom right there?
Mm-hmm. She's right there.
I know. That was a rhetorical question. I know your mom was right there. I'm sure your Aunt Marge was there.
Was right there.
You know what makes me upset about that day? Motherfucker, you didn't call me. You didn't have nobody. You told them not to call me.
I did.
And why was that?
I knew it would break your heart.
Yeah, well, what had previously happened though? So this is what kind of gets me about people sometimes. Is I love my friends. I have loved my friends for all of my life because my friends have been more in my life than most of my family. Now, I do have a brother named Jeremy and another brother named Patrick and my sister Brittany. Very, very, very supportive people. But we were all separated except for me and my brother Jeremy. So I didn't really have anybody outside of him. And me and him both heavily relied on our friends, too. Which is why we usually have very similar friends, too. But I understand, right, having this experience in addiction that sometimes it leads us down a way that we don't want to be. I have had many friends, because of addiction, we just lose ways with each other. You know what I'm saying? Cantrell, Theory here. We all call him Theory, and that's his name. But, like, I know him as Cantrell because I met Cantrell in jail. We met each other in jail, and in those moments, we even said, this is either the devil or God.
Yep. Because it was so immediate, bro. Like,
but hear me out though, because there was an immediate connection.
Pause. Go ahead.
There was an immediate connection with Cantrell, right? And I knew that he was going to be a good friend forever, and I was committed to that. Well, we were in a business together, and Cantrell relapsed, and I was in recovery, obviously, at the time.
This is years later,
but this is years. But after we met each other, so we've already had like 8-9 years of friendship, and like he makes a mistake, right? And actually, it's not that he makes a mistake; is I know that he's at a fragile state, and I give too much authority to him, and I recognize that because I recognized that it was stressful. And I put somebody in a position of handling something that was actually a major trigger for him at the time. And people can say what the fuck they want about triggers.
I made a lot of money, bro. It was really fun, and I did a lot of good stuff with it too,
the thing was we made a lot of money really fast.
And a good name for ourselves, honestly.
Yeah, we were doing great work. I mean, we're averaging $2,500 a week each, and it was. And we didn't have to work that hard, right? And because it's easy to do things when you do them the right way, right? It might take a little bit longer sometimes, but you do good quality work is always there. And the thing is he recognized that, I recognized that, but addiction doesn't care about stability, and it doesn't care about friendship, and it doesn't care about these things. And when we do these things out of impulse, when we're not feeling good or we need now, crack is a motherfucker because people don't understand. You don't understand the monster that lives inside of you. So my friend here thought that because he did something that wronged me, and it did hurt me, that it meant that I was not that
you were at such a fragile point, and that then you're
right.
Like,
but this is my thing.
And that was a shitty thing for me to do.
My boy just almost died, right? And we just had a little fallout that I didn't think was reasonable enough to not get a call. And I'm not saying I'm upset at him. I'm actually saying the contrary. I never want my friend to ever have that misunderstanding again, and any of my friends. Because if I love you, regardless of how I feel, no matter how it is, as long as you haven't done something like my brother Shawnee did to me, right? He's a child molester. I will always fucking be there. And that was something that, like, it really bothered me. Not in the sense of him, but like I felt like a failure as a friend because I made my friend think that he had wronged me so much that he couldn't call me.
But I also wasn't ready to tell the truth of what happened. Well, and you were the only person that I would ever tell the full truth of what happened first. You know that.
Well, I'm not even asking for the truth in there, but I'm saying I would have. So going forward in life, I will make sure that I'm always there to, like, even if he needs appointments or whatever, I will always make sure that I'm fucking there, regardless of the time that it takes or the effort that it takes or the cost that it takes. And the reason is because you put priority in people, and then they feel like they're worth it, right? And, like, the one thing that I know about my friends is they consistently tell me that, oh, you like to make people feel good, you make people feel good, and you blah, 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 blah. And it's like, I love my friends, and I let them know that I love them. And I feel like it's my job and my responsibility in this relationship that I continuously do that because of addiction, because I've lacked that in my life. Because addiction is really, the way that people see it, is a lot different than it is. It's actually a feeling of loss, constant feeling of loss inside, like you're missing this part of you, like you just don't fit in, like this. I have this constant, utter ball of anxiety that exists in my solar plexus, and the only time in my life that it has ever gone away, and there's actually a couple instances. The first one ever in my life, though, was by drugs, and I fell in love with them because of that, because I had felt relief. For a fucking moment of all the things that have happened in my life, I felt relief. And even if it was only a couple hours, I was more than willing to sit in there. And people always assume that it was me separating, like staying away from the world. But I always seen it as like this bubble keeping me out of the disgustingness. Because when you look at addiction, they go like, oh, it's a gross world. It's like, yeah, but I felt protected in it. Because the chaos, it was my controlled chaos. And it becomes really, really hard to connect with people in that space. So now that I'm in this available space, a free space, and I work the program, it's become a priority. And that's where we are now. That's why I think this is so important to talk about, because it's an evolution of a relationship too. The impact of addiction, but also how that impact has really influenced the development and growth of one, two people, a family, our family.
If you want to take that stance on it, then I would have to put the fact that you and your family, wife, the kids included, are the epitome of what a real friend / family should and would do in a case like this. Like, a lot of people will throw you to the side if you have nothing to offer, like literally nothing to give back to the people that are there to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wasn't able to do anything, like, and I haven't been, and you've been there this whole time, haven't asked for a dime. And God's been blessing you and blessing you and blessing you and blessing you and blessing you.
Well, see, that's the thing, is you think I'm not getting anything in return. But what you don't know is that I am getting the most in return. You know what Marie calls you? She literally calls you my emotional support friend. Like,
are you serious?
Yeah, because you help me be confident. You and another friend named David McIntyre are two friends that I have been with that have never, like... Because I have some friends that won't acknowledge that I've had struggles because of the way that I look. Like, I'm a Caucasian male, so, like, you've never had struggles. I have a friend who specifically will, like, you don't know what it's like, even though his life has been... It's been decent. Like, he had a place he lived, he had a parent that loved him, like, He only had one location. These things that, like, are stereotypically, like, not there, the person just had. But because of perceived, like, races, really, because he's black and I'm white, there's a disregard there. I have a friend now that doesn't do that to me, and I'm sorry to say, but there is a huge disregard there, because there's these stereotypes that surround how people are perceived. So, like... A lot of people if you look at me, you wouldn't assume that I was raised in, like, the hood, or that I was raised in poverty, or that I was, I don't look like that. You were raised
more hood than me. Your mom was a Crip, bro, like a real live actual Crip.
But the perception's not there, but my point is that
my mom wasn't even a Crip, bro.
my friends. My point was that is not to say anything about the things that I've gone through. Is that I have a friend that recognizes. What I've gone through, and doesn't minimize that for me. And that's what you are for me. You do not minimize my struggles. In fact, most of the time I'm like, all right, dude, calm down. It's not, like, I got through this shit. It's okay. You get mad. When I told you about being abused as a kid, bro, this motherfucker got so mad. Like, we were about to go to Wisconsin and find the motherfucker. Like, dude, it's okay,
how
man.
I felt, bro. It's how I feel.
It's a reaction, and that's a friend. You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't minimize your pain, your struggles. They listen to you, and when you need that opposition, who gives it to me? You do. If I'm wrong about something, you fucking tell me the truth. You know what I'm saying? And that's what a real friend does. And also,
I wouldn't be a friend if I did.
Because friendship is truth, right? And it's the opposite of addiction. See, we have these fundamental pillars in our lives now. Because we, as people who have experienced addiction and lived through it and survived it, have recognized that these are so important in maintaining a healthy life. Friendship, accountability, honesty, right? Transparency. But ultimately, the biggest one is integrity. Doing it no matter what, and because it is what it is.
No matter if there's nobody looking or if everybody's looking, you do the exact same thing. And
always.
That's the right thing.
It's the right thing. And I think there's an expectation because of the things that we've done in our lives that maybe that's outside of our capacity. But I would actually argue that people who have gone through that, people who have gone to the very brink of their life, to the very brink of extinction, almost killing themselves.
Literally.
They know who they are.
Yep.
Recognize the greatness in that. Recognize the greatness in their survival. And I'm not trying to excuse bad behavior. I'm not trying to say, like, don't hold them accountable. In fact, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying the opposite. Hold them accountable. Let them stand in their shit. But also allow them to understand something. That you recognize that they're fucking human. And that what they were doing, we're trying to manage a way through a fucking life that is so hard for all of us. I think it would be a lie to say that we all don't know what it's like to struggle, right? Every human on this planet struggles. Like, a pebble in my shoe is different than a pebble in yours. But the thing about it is...
We should also remind them, our friends that are addicts or recovering or whatever, that it's okay to hold yourself accountable. It's actually...
Yes.
It's actually required.
It is required.
It's required to hold yourself accountable. That way, you don't have to worry about accountability to anyone else.
Yep. Because it's easy to... Right, and this is the easiest thing...
That's how you maintain integrity.
if you don't lie, you don't have to remember a story. It's crazy.
It's true.
And these
It's
crazy
true.
simple changes that we've all like kind of developed. But the main one, in my opinion, is the connection, the friendship thing. And why this is so important to me is because I wouldn't have this without you, right? You or Dave, you guys both encouraged me to do this. You guys both encouraged me to do my art.
It makes me happy that you've
And
actually
it's
you've
accelerating
invested so much, man. It looks good.
Dude, it's accelerating. Everything is accelerating and everything is happening. I have so many people reaching out to me, professional people that are like, hey, man, I want to use your stuff, or I like your stuff, and blah, 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 blah. Don't change who you are. I don't know how to not be me. And I've struggled always to fit into society because I don't fit into the normal 9-to-5 job. In fact, my work style, reliability, I do not like to show up to work. I'm be honest with you.
Right.
Now, when it comes to my own business, like when I was doing Doc's home maintenance, I always showed up. I always did the work. I love
the grind. It was so much fun.
I love working. It's just what I put my passion into. What I realize now is that I want that to be art. I want that to be expression. I want that to be connection with the people out here, with you, with everybody. I want to see what's out there because what I find is that greatness is in the normal people. It's in the normal people, man. It's in the people that have experienced the harshness. It's the people that have experienced the ugly side of the world because these people know who they are and they have this truth to them, man. And I love authenticity. I am a fan of it.
It feels good to be finally authentic. You know,
it's liberating.
It's so liberating, bro. I feel free. Like, I'm bound to a wheelchair and a walker and like a boot on my right leg, and I have 47 staples in my back.
Most people wouldn't call you liberated, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't.
But you are more free than I've ever seen you.
Bro.
You are less hindered than I've ever witnessed.
And I have opposition. I have
Daily.
intense opposition.
Even
daily.
to go to the bathroom.
Yeah,
I mean, like literally to
literally.
go to the bathroom.
Literally. And
It's a fucking struggle, but the man does it, and he constantly gets up. Like, even to come to this podcast, I even offered to bring the stuff to him. He's like, nah, man, I want to be in the spot.
Yeah.
Like, I want to feel the energy, man, because he understands, and his commitment is there now, and that's the difference I see. And that's what that change does for us. Like, him being honest and having that story and coming out and telling you guys that's fucking notable. It's more than notable, because how many people are willing to expose the skeletons in their closet? Not many people. Not many people are willing to tell the truth about what they did in a situation.
You know, not to cut you off, I'm
No,
sorry,
you're good,
but
man.
what I want from, if I could get anything from this story, and I'm altruistic in most of my giving. I say most because if I said all, that'd be lie, and I'm trying not to lie. But in most of my giving, whether it be like words or whatever, I'm altruistic, and I don't expect anything back from it. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I expect something back, and I want something back from this story that I'm telling, and I'm going to tell you what I want from it.
Yeah.
If I could just get one person, when you're in the trenches and you're about to open that fucking door after you've already spent a day and a half smoking crack in that same building, before you reach that door, you think to yourself and say, if I turn around right now, it would change everything. Just turn around. It's alright. Or, what did I say, 47 staples in my back, whole bunch of hardware on my foot.
Yeah. Well, it becomes that choice and that voice, right? So and I always just tell this to my clients when I was a provider. I would say, like, you know, there's these voices that exist, and we often pray for things that we already have. I used to pray for strength to not get fucking high. Like, I would have my Xanax, and I'd be like, God, please give me the strength to not do this. Not realizing that I'm praying for something that's already there, right? Like, I have this little voice.
If you have the strength to ask for it,
it's there, right? Take it. Do it. Take the step, right? And it's the hardest thing to do, not realizing that you actually have the authority to do so. Now, I'm not going to tell you that you're helpless. I'm not going to tell you that you're always going to be helpless and that you're broken and that you're always going to be sick, because I don't believe that. In fact, my dad would roll over right now in his fucking grave if he had one. He's actually cremated. He'd blow in the wind right now. If I...
See what I'm saying? Like,
all right,
we were on a good roll.
But the truth is, what I'm saying is that if my dad heard me say that I was helpless or that I was broken or that I'm sick, or if I introduced myself as an addict all the time instead of saying I'm in recovery or that I'm recovered, he would flip, because my dad was the first person to ever make me understand the power of my mind and how actually powerful that was. And this was the message that I used to give, and it was actually in opposition to most of the messages that they wanted me to give in the treatment centers. But I actually have a really high rate of success rates in regarding my patients. A lot of my patients are still clean today because of this simple understanding that they literally have the personal authority. that they control the ship, that they, when needing help, they ask for help. But that is also being in control, because leadership doesn't necessarily mean you're at the front of the group. It means that you allow yourself to be accountable. You allow yourself to be in the front in way of, like, metaphorically, in way of, like, the opposition or the consequences, right? Leadership is accepting responsibility, but not being, I guess, overly selfish about that. And
while at the same time being able to delegate responsibility without being overbearing.
Because it's not authoritarian, right? That's not what leadership is. But
you have to delegate responsibility as a leader.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes. You got to be able to do that.
There's a mild way to do it without being, and some people can, that's the thing about, like, being able to judge character. Like,
but doing that for yourself, though, is what I'm talking about, essentially.
Right. Okay,
is like doing and having the ability to do that. You want to be able to have this ability to be like, no, this is good for me, this is bad for me. You want to be able to differentiate good and bad, right? You want to be able to differentiate positive and negative, or lackluster and gold. Like, these are things and judgments that we have to do. The only thing is like, when we lie to ourselves and we tell ourselves that we're helpless and that we're at the will of this other thing outside of ourselves. It's like, I'm not saying that disease is not our addiction is not a disease. What I'm saying is there is a cure to the disease, though.
There is.
And it's not helplessness, and it's not telling yourself that you're helpless. People say, well, you can't live off willpower. You have no idea what truth can do for a person. When you tell a person how powerful they actually are, when you actually understand that a placebo effect renders the same kind of results as a pill, yes, in terms of benefits, then you start questioning reality here. And you start asking yourself, like, wait a minute, maybe I'm not so sick. Maybe I'm not so broken.
Maybe I can manipulate my own reality.
Maybe I can. And then you fall under things like the double slit experiment, and it literally confirms that our perspective and our viewing of something literally changes reality, meaning literally our consciousness. And us viewing something changes the outcome of something. We create reality by perceiving it. The chicken and the egg. Like, that's where we are again. And my point is, if you will allow yourself the time and effort and just kindness to give yourself that power back.
I say that. Be kind to yourself. Please be kind to yourself.
Because you don't deserve a life with the life of sacrifice, consistently giving everything away because you don't fit in or you don't feel right. You know why you don't feel right? Because it's not right. So something has to be fixed. Something has to be done. Something has to be faced. Sometimes exposure is the only way. But telling yourself that you're helpless and that you're always going to be broken is not the way to do it. Now, I'm not saying don't find the support. I'm saying acknowledge when you're broken, ask for help. That's still a great person. Yeah. That's still a powerful person. Yeah. You're still in control of your life because you were seeking the help, right? Doing these things and recognizing what that actually means. A lot of people, they take your words out of context, or they take this out of context, like you just saying that, like, well, you're always going to be a drug addict, dude. You're always going to be sick. No, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Habits change. Behaviors change. I'm not the same person I was 10 years ago, and I'll tell you what, I've never fallen back into those habits ever again.
See, here's the thing that people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand. This is just my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong. Being an addict and having an addictive personality are two totally different things. And let me explain. Like, being an addict to me means I am actively doing something in a compulsive way.
You lost control of it.
I lost control of whatever it is. Okay, that's current.
Of your ability to mitigate the negative effects of it.
Having that personality only speaks to your strength, because you're only as strong as your actions, and if you act on the impulse of being an addict, then you're an addict. Otherwise, you're a strong person that just has to have those...
Bringing it back full circle there, and I love it because it was getting back to that point of recognizing that voice in your head that says, don't fucking do it.
Don't do it.
And I'm not saying, just say no. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you have this fucking voice in your head, just like I was saying at the beginning of this.
You're stronger than the person that tells you get there.
The one that tells you not to do it. Yeah. The one that says, like, I need the strength to not do these fucking drugs. That voice exists, and the more you listen to that voice, the louder it gets, and then the smaller that other voice gets, and all of a sudden, that insignificance that we were so scared of, that worthlessness, that hopelessness that we were so attached to,
it dissipates so fast,
so quick. And why is that? Why is that, Theory? What's the fucking theory?
To me, You're realizing who you are. It's called self-actualization.
And connecting with your actual purpose.
Huh.
Now, I'm not sure how you do that, and I'm not sure how to encourage other people to do that, but I know that I do that by way of accountability and honesty and surrounding myself with people who do the same. Now, I don't expect people to be the exact same as me because I expect people, for the most part, to be better than me. I think most people are. Not to call myself worthless.
I'm glad you said that.
I'm not saying that I'm worthless, but I do find more value in other human beings, and I think because of that, I often get the comment about how like I make people feel special or I make friends feel good. It's because I love them more than I love myself. But that's not without saying that I do love myself. And I equally love myself in a way, but in terms of priority, I just feel like the more priority you give to anything external, the more purpose you have in life. And the easier it is. Like I didn't have real purpose in my life until my family was really developed. Like it's like I accept my responsibility as a father. Because I didn't feel like I had a purpose until they existed. I didn't feel loved until I met my wife. Like I literally had gone through a life of so much abuse and trauma that I didn't think it was even capable to connect to anybody.
You and your family are the only reason I believe that true families can exist still. Bro, how many years?
I have been with my wife for 21 years now.
How many kids?
We have 4 kids.
Bro, that's a long time. And you're how old?
I am only 33.
All right, so you guys do the math. Yeah.
Going on 21 years, so it's been 20 years. So we were 13.
Crazy to me, and then like, you know.
It's continual growth though. We've gone through the highs, the lows, the bad, addiction, all of it, dude. We've gone through everything: homelessness together, abuse together, broken homes together, and it's just something I'm not willing to like because I see the value in relationships. I'll stick by somebody as long as it's not something that's really actually hurting me, because people, and that's even to say that like. The whole point of this conversation was to recognize something that regardless of certain things that happen to me or to me regarding my friends, like if we have fallouts, I love my people and I'm always going to be there for my fucking people. And I declare that that's my declaration to my friends. And I promise that integrity till the day that I die because I don't think that I can expect anything less of myself because I would feel disgusted in the fact that I let that fall by the wayside if it wasn't a priority. And I mean that for my kids, for my friends, for anybody I don't even know. Like if you need help, I want to be that person that offers it. And if I can be, I feel like I should be.
And you give 100% as a friend too. Like, and man, they say, oh, it's supposed to be 50-50 in a relationship. And I don't see it like that. You know what I'm saying? I see like every relationship that you have with each person is an individual relationship. In that relationship, if you genuinely care about that person and you genuinely respect and honor that person, you will give 100% as often as you can. Sometimes you might have to give 74 or whatever to that friendship or in that specific relationship.
Now, do you think people struggle with that more, or do you think they struggle with giving that to themselves more? Because I think people struggle with that giving it to themselves more. Like more people are so critical of themselves.
That was the case for me. So yeah, I guess I see that in a lot of not only just addicts, but in just people in general. I see it in people in general, not just addicts. Like yeah, people are. I don't know. It's like they're afraid to show themselves the love that they show everyone else because they don't feel like they deserve it.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's another thing about addiction. Most of the time, we don't feel like we deserve love. A lot of us have gone through a life where like we were cast out or we weren't given that. We have bereavement issues because
and you've done so much dirt in your life. It's like,
right. And then on top of that,
deserve this especially with this broken foot. You know what I mean?
When it's confirmed in adulthood, the things that happened in your childhood, it makes it 10 times harder.
Yeah.
To give yourself value. Like I was abused as a kid, and then when I got older, I did all this shit. So it just confirms that I'm a piece of shit. Yeah. Well, listen. I appreciate the time and I appreciate the effort. We have a message for everybody out there, and the message is this. You have the authority to change your life. You have the power to do so. And I, just like everybody here and just like everybody who has done it before, know that it is possible for you to obtain that same freedom and liberation. Stop giving authority away. People in the world are more than willing to take it. They are more than willing to control your life. Stop allowing them to do so. I'm talking about that economically. I'm talking about that mentally, and I'm saying that spiritually, metaphorically, in every way that you could possibly imagine. Understand that you have the power, you have the strength, and you have the ability. The only thing holding you back is your doubt. Don't allow your doubt to stop you. And don't allow stagnation to create so much conflict in your life that you choose to stand still as opposed to moving forward.
I have one last thing to say, guys. And again, thank you for coming. We look forward to the next time we speak with you. Be you. Stay the course. You got this.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good night.